Welcome everyone, it's Glacier Guy, Rocket the Glacier as always. We're going to be doing a deep dive into the Imperial Guard today, or the Astra Militarum as they've been called recently in the last few editions. So I picked up the Cadia Stands box set today, finally was able to get it from my local gaming store. And although I've never gamed there, but I have bought gaming products from them. So yeah, went out, did some Black Friday shopping, picked up a couple things, picked up the Cadia Stands box set. I've already opened it up, and yeah, I mean, it's got stuff in it. My plan is to paint this all as Pinot Legion. All of the new Imperial Guard kits that are coming out over the next couple months, I'm just going to paint them all Pinot Legion. So they're all going to be orange and black primarily, so orange fatigues with black armor. And then I'll figure out some accent colors with some reds or whatever. And this Scout Sentinel is going to be, this armor, I'm going to make him a Scout Sentinel. But yeah, we're not going to be opening up the box. There's plenty of videos out there of what the box is, but what we're going to be talking about is something else slightly different. Also, I picked up a Hydra because Hydras now are slightly better, and we'll talk about that. So I picked up a Hydra kit. So unfortunately, I already have 3 of the Wyverns, so I'm just going to be painting this as a Hydra because I actually don't have any Hydras. Mostly because they've had some issues over the years. All right, let's talk about the Guard. And let's start from 3rd edition. So yes, we'll be starting from 3rd edition all the way up to the new Guard. And if you think that I wasn't going to spend the entire video complaining, well, you'd probably be wrong. Yeah, I'm going to be giving my opinions on the different editions, and we're going to work our way through this. So hope you enjoy the Imperial Guard. If not, feel free to just leave a like and check out other videos. I did a Pokemon unboxing recently, so if you want to look at that, feel free. But all right, let's kind of crack into it. So, 3rd edition. So there were 2 Imperial Guard books in 3rd edition. I believe this is the most recent of the editions. I don't think I had the one before this. But yeah, so this is 3rd edition. So this was probably one of the first few rule books I picked up before I even played the Imperial Guard. I did not make an army when this was the rule book. I picked up this rule book though because I thought it looked cool, but I never got around to like making an army. When did this come out? Does it have the year on the front cover? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's on the back. Did it have a year when this came out? 2003. So this old boy is yeah, this is when I was still in high school. Yeah, so didn't have a lot of money. I think I was playing Tau at the time. I don't even think I ever bought a single Imperial Guard model, but I thought the models looked cool. All right, let's kind of zip through this and see where we're starting from. So the organization, look at this huge Cadian 8th. Man, that is a lot of models. Obviously, I think it's Photoshop. I think this is all Photoshop. I think they just copied and pasted to make this. I don't think they actually did this because that would be crazy. But yeah, you had Creed, you had the old metal commissar, long time ago, this old metal commissar. You had the new plastic, because I believe this is when the new plastic kits came out for the Cadians. And yeah, Catachan, or Chimeras, heavy weapon squads, all the different platoons. This is a super iconic art. It'd be kind of cool to see this kind of vehicle. I think that would probably be too big for any battlefield. But these landing craft have been shown differently every single time. Then you had the old, I forget what Titan this is. This is a huge, is it Imperator Titan? But yeah, the old Titan in the background. This was pretty cool. Gotta make sure you pick up all those flak vests. You're gonna need them later. All right, this classic art. It was so beautiful in this old 3rd edition book. All right, so let's kind of keep going. So we got old metal models are showing off. You got the platoons. It's a pretty small book. The old Ogrins, the old metal Ogrins. Those are kind of cute. Different troop choices. So yeah, I think this is a mix of some of the older metal Catachans plus the plastic ones, kind of mixed together. We have the new Cadian shock troops, the old metal. Actually, I don't know if these are the plastic ones. These might have just all been the metal ones. Maybe a mix. We had the Talarn, the old metal Talarn. We had the metal Steel Legion, which were available up until recently. You had the old metal Mordians. You had the metal Valhallans. And your heavy weapons. Yeah, all the different heavy weapon teams. The new las cannons. This is back when like you would have 2 little guys and the mortar by itself, and then you could put it on a new base. We're definitely gonna be talking about that. You got your Sentinels. Yeah, look at this beautiful art right here. How you can paint the different regiments. This is pretty cool. You have like Chaos Black and oh man, Codex Gray, Bestial Brown. Woo! Commander Chekhov. Oh man, this is, yeah, 3rd edition. Good times. All right, let's kind of get into kind of like how the army felt back then. It was a very horde army. All right, so you had your command platoon squad. And so in there you had a heroic senior officer, junior officer, veteran guardsman, and so you had all different options. But you had a bunch of support squads that would go. You got an anti-tank support squad, which is which one is las cannons or missile launcher. You had your fire support, which is heavy bolter autocannon, and your mortar support, which is mortars. Yeah, your sentinel support and the special weapons squad, psychers, commissars, priests. So we had hardened veterans. This is when they called them hardened veterans. You had Augerins, Rattlins, Stormtroopers. These were before the Tempesta Scions. You had your Tech Priest Engine Seers. You had your infantry platoon. So this is how the infantry used to be. A platoon was a troop choice. And you had a command squad with a junior officer. And then you had 2 to 5 infantry squads. And you could take conscript infantry platoons, you could take armored fist platoons. The armored fist platoon was actually a thing that used to be able to buy a box set. It was a chimera and an infantry squad in a box. That's pretty cool. You had your Hellhounds, Rough Riders, you had your Sentinels, which I think Sentinels were just scout. I don't think, did they make armored? Did they make armored Sentinels separate? I think at the time maybe they only had scout Sentinels. I don't know if they had armor. They had different patterns. You had Armageddon, Mars, Catachan, or Cadian. Which is pretty interesting, but I think you only had the Scout Sentinels. No, you had the option to make the armored, but I guess like, yeah, open topped. Sentinels make take free move. Interesting. All right, so you had Creed. Creed was a big star. You had Color Sergeant, you had Creed, and then you had Kell, so the guy yelling all your orders. Commissar Yarrick. The old Baali. You had Ibram Gaunt, which Gaunt had an old metal model kit at the time. You had Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers, which I think they had done a metal release over the last couple of years at one point. They did a re-release. You had your old regimental doctrines, so you had certain restricted troops. You had drop troops, grenadiers, mechanized. You had Die Hard. You had a whole bunch of different sharpshooters. This was kind of like ideas of like what, like preferred special weapons, preferred heavy weapons. So you grenade launcher autocannon. Flamer mortar, plasma gun missile launcher, mortar and guard was grenade launcher las cannons, grenade launcher missile launcher. Yeah, so these were like all different things. Tanith first one, Flamer, said data restricted on the Tanith. Catching Dunifers, Slave Chem Dogs, Terox Guard. You had the Warhawks with the drop troops. You had Deathcore Krieg, Skull Takers. You had a whole bunch of cool stuff in the old 3rd edition rulebook right there. Yeah, so 3rd edition was an edition. It's pretty good. All right, we'll set that aside. Kind of get into 5th edition. Yeah, feel that, hear that thickness right there. Old 5th edition. As one of my friends says, 5th edition is the only edition he will ever play. He said that basically after 5th edition, everything went bad. Everything went downhill after 5th edition. A lot of cool art in 5th edition. You have Solar Lord Marcarius. Now the problem is Solar Lord Marcarius was not in the 3rd edition rulebook. He's mentioned here in the 5th edition rulebook, but I don't think there's rules for him. The rules I believe for him were in a White Dwarf or a Road Trader or something, but there's no rules for him, I believe, in this army. But they do talk about him. Yeah, all the different regiments: Steel Legion, Vostroyans, Valhallans, Rough Riders, drop troops. Elysian drop troops were a thing. You could get those around the time this came out. Forge World had those. And they were in the Forge World rulebooks. This is when orders showed up, when orders started becoming things. So you still had your command squad, regimental dividers, commissars, primary psychers, tech priests, infantry squads, conscripts. Kind of keep going. Penal Legion. You had your Penal Legion troops. Man, Penal Legion were cool. I really liked Penal Legion back then. They had a lot of flavor. Now, the only Penal Legion really that you would get, you had a kit bash. A lot of these models. Veterans, you had a kit bash. Yep. They even had a thing for combining regiments. What was that? Combining regiments. What was that? Yeah, so basically you were like, when a regiment was below a certain strength, you combine them together. So if your veterans had like slightly different war gear or slightly different iconography, that would explain it. You had your Rough Riders, you had your Sentinels, you had Scout Sentinels. This is when the Armored Sentinel showed up. It's Stormtroopers, Psyker Battle Squads. This one you did all the different variants. It's around Forge World is making some of these different versions. And yep. Hellhound, this one, the Hydra Flak Tank showed up. I believe the Hydra Flak Tank was already in Forge World before this, but this is when it showed up in plastic. Your Ordnance Batteries, oh man, this was back in the day. This was awesome. She had your Basilisk, Medusa. So the Medusa still has a version on Forge World, so you Armageddon pattern Medusa. The Colossus is on Forge World as a Colossus and Bombard, but the Griffin is gone. The only place you can get a Griffin now is on, what game is that? On Dawn of War, and I think it's only Dawn of War if it's modded you can get the Griffin. So the Manticore rocket launcher, the Death Stripe missile launcher, the Valkyrie assault carrier. Of course, you had Creed and Kell. Sergeant Baston. Sergeant Baston is in here. We're going to talk about this later. Pask shows up. You had Strachan, Marlborough, Harker, Yarick. Then you had Captain Al-Rahim for the Talarm. Excuse me, someone just tried to call me. Nope. That's an automated message. We had Commander Chenkov. Mogul Car. So I've never seen this guy ever used in a game. I do remember, I think there was a metal model for him, but I'm not 100% sure. Might have been Kit Bash. There were models for these two. I know there's models for these two. Pretty sure there was a model for this guy. Nork, yeah, so a lot of cool stuff. So different regimental reinforcements in 5th edition. This is when a lot of the newer plastic Cadian stuff was coming out around the time. Some of the older metal model sculpts in there. Catching. Destroying Firstborn. This is the last big metal release. Was for Destroying Firstborn, and I have an army of these guys. Yeah, so these guys are pretty neat. You got different sniper rifle guys, commanders with power fists. Yeah. And then, of course, you still have your old Morty and Iron Guard, your Desert Raiders, your Steel Legion. I got a whole army of Steel Legion. Got an army of Valhallans. These ones I have, but they're Victoria miniatures. They're not the real metal models. I don't have those anymore. Or I never had those ones. The Commissars. The old version of the Hellhounds. All right, so back then in 5th edition, you still had your command squad, which different things attached to the command squad. Then you had your other HQ choices. Lord Commissar, you had Yarick was still around. Primary Psyker, different priests. You had Ogrins, Ratlins, Battle Squads. Stormtroopers still around. Marlborough was still in the rulebook. There was a period when Marlborough wasn't in the rulebook. You still had your infantry platoons. Infantry platoons were still a thing. You had your command squad, your 2 to 5 infantry squads. So that was pretty cool. Heavy weapon squads, special weapons, where you had 6 guardmen and 3 of them would get a special weapon. You could take a demo charge back then. Demo charge was pretty neat. Conscripts, so this one you could have conscripts for 20, but you could take an additional 30. And if you had Chekhov with a special rule, you get sent to the next wave for 75 more points. So you paid 75 more points and you get basically like an unending tide of troops. That was awesome. Your veteran squads. Man, I miss veterans. You could take 3 special weapons in a veteran squad. You still have Penal Legions. I think this might have been the last time Penal Legions showed up. Yeah, Armored Sentinels, Valkyrie. Oh, Vendetta gunships. Yeah, this was when the Vendetta gunships were introduced, which is kind of interesting because if you took the Vendetta gunship, you got extra armor, which I'm trying to remember what extra armor did. I forget what it did. But there's extra armor on that one too. You saw the same, pretty much essentially the same rules, but this one came with 2 las cannons. But you can take them off and swap them with Hellfury missiles, which I don't think anybody ever did. I think if you were taking a Vendetta gunship, you were always just taking the las cannons. But different heavy support options, your Ordnance Battery, Manticore, Death Strike. Yeah, different artillery. Man, 5th edition. 5th edition was a great edition. Yeah, this is when we got to see a different look, the front of how these landing craft look, where they just like spew troops out, which, you know, it's kind of indicative of how it looks on the Cadia Stands box, but like I really prefer this kind of art style, showing just the Imperial Guard just you know, just looking cool. These ones I think are fighting cultists though, or renegades. Yep, instead of orcs. The Cadia Stands are fighting orcs. All right. Now we move on to this guy, 6th edition. This was my 6th edition special version of the rule book. We got the old slip cover on top of it. Let's take the slip cover off. The slip cover has a really cool, like, yeah, look at that. A little Bane blade. That's awesome. Shows like what a Bane blade looks on the inside. Yep. Oh man, that was cool. So let's put that slip cover back on. Without the slip cover, it's got that really nice art. Yeah. Looks pretty sweet. Cadia Citadel Vault. It's from the Citadel Vault. All right, I'll put that slip cover back on. Keep it nice and protected. It had a little bookmarking thing in there. I don't know if the bookmark is in the... I don't think so. Is there a bookmark? No, there's no bookmark. Some of the newer books, some of the Horus Heresy books have the integrated bookmark, but this one does not. Oh, let me figure it out. Come on. Here we go. All right, let's kind of peruse through the old 6th edition rulebook. All right. Yep, I didn't fill that one out. How do you know it's mine? This is when the Tempestus Scions were introduced in the 6th edition rulebook. A lot of more color, a lot of more colored art. So yeah, this is where they talk about Macarius. You know, this old glory to the Lord Solar Macarius. Yeah. Cadian shock troops, Cadians. They talk about different regiments. Old Elysian drop troops. How much I miss thee. I have every one of these. So I have these. No, hold on. I have these 4 on top. I have an army for these. I have these. I don't have any of the other ones. different wars. Got a little cartoon, a little more cartoony, a little bit. This is when orders became a big thing. Orders started to come out a little bit more. Tank commanders were introduced, I believe. This is probably when tank commanders were introduced. Regimental advisors, infantry platoons. Yeah, look at these, all these different cool Radlins, Ogrins. Veterans are still around. Battle tanks are still around. Oh yeah, Valkyrie and Vendettas. They're kind of highlighted a little bit more in this book. I think you could still get stormtroopers at this time, but maybe they were all phased out this time. Hellhounds, Yarick. Yarick is still around. Hero of Hades Hive, still there. Strachan, Creed, Pask. Yeah, different armory options. Yeah, different special UC war gear, snare mines, foxcasters. A lot of cool stuff. Yeah, look at that. That was nice. Destroying Firstborn, all the old metal sculpts are still showing off, even though I think at this point in time you really couldn't get these. You definitely couldn't get these around 6th edition. They were really hard to find, some of these ones. You got to be on eBay for these. These ones are still being sold. These ones, they did a couple releases for these, but not a whole lot. Yeah, gonna paint some Vestroyan. I got some Vestroyan vehicles I gotta paint up. All right, let's see some more arts. A lot of cool. Yeah, Tempestus, Militarum Tempestus are showing up. Yeah, a lot of Tempestors. Yep, we got Tempestor Primes. We're gonna be talking about that guy. Yeah, this is a really cool army right here. All right, let's kind of get into it. So HQs installed Yarick, platoon command squad. All the guys went into the command squad. Tank commanders, we got Pask, got Lord Commissar, regular commissars, Engine Seers. The infantry platoon was still the old traditional way of platoon command squad plus 2, up to 2 to 5, and then you had your special support, your special weapons, heavy weapons, conscripts. Still had conscripts, can still at this time take 50 conscripts. That was pretty cool. Yep, dedicated transports, Torx Prime. All right, we need to talk about this. Back when the Tempestus kit, which is still the same kit it is today, when that came out, the Tempestor Prime, which is an HQ choice, may take items from the melee weapons list. That is no longer allowed, and we're gonna go about that when we get to the 9th edition codex. But back when the models were released, you can take a prime with a melee weapon, which is ridiculous that you can't now. And we're definitely getting into this. Back then, only 2 scions per, up to 2 scions may be upgraded to special weapons list. Yeah, so back then you can only take 2 special weapons in your scions. They did change that a little bit later. Scout Sentinels, Armored. Still had Rough Riders back in 6th edition, even though I think Rough Riders were kind of, I think all the metal models were gone by then. Valkyrie, Vendetta, still had Vendettas. I still don't know why anyone would ever take 2 Hellfury missiles. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I guess, well, you had 1 extra twin-linked. Yeah. But this is when Squadrons came out. This was awesome. I think you might have been Squadron before. But yeah, a lot of nice little fold-outs. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. 6th edition was not a bad edition. They did, a lot of the special characters were gone in 6th edition, like Baston and the Talarn commanders and Chekhov. So a lot of things were lost from 5th to 6th, but we did get some stuff from, you know, so it wasn't all doom and gloom. I'm trying to get this back in this box. Oh, we don't want to ruin the little. So yeah, I liked 6th edition at the time. So yeah, 6th edition pretty good. All right, now we're moving on. I believe this is 7th edition. Yeah, 7th, or like the beginning of 8th edition. So this is the rule book that we were using that technically is still legal as of until January. So yeah, this is the one that everyone's familiar with. Let's take a quick flip through this one real quick before we get on to the new one. So there was the Citrus Maledictum. This is like, so this is when the big Maledictum had spread across. This is when the Rumians. So this is right after Cadia fell. Yep. Catachans, Armageddon, Vestroya, Talarn, all the different regiments. These guys, I think this is one of the first time these guys show up. They are pretty cool. I wish I knew how to convert those. Those would be pretty neat. They have some models that look pretty similar. Tank commanders from Mordian, a lot of different heroes. Company commander, tank commander, heavy weapons veterans, still have veterans. Yeah, let's kind of get to the. Let's get to all the regimental colors. Still showing off the metal models. Still showing off all the cool old metal models. All right, so this right here, I want to talk about this for a little bit. So this right here shows how you can kit bash and convert. And you can have like a lot of cool different options and different armies and different color schemes and stuff like that. Including this, this was on Warhammer TV. This is them wanting you to convert and customize. I still don't know. I gotta figure out how they did this. I think I know how they did this. I think this is from one of the first few Kill Team kits, but I don't know if you can still get these anymore. I'm gonna have to look these up because these guys look really cool. These also kind of look a little bit like the, what do they call those? Yeah, I think these are definitely one of the first Kill Team kits. I need to look for these. But yeah, these will look pretty sweet. But yeah, this is when like kit bashing was super huge and was like super recommended and everything. I've seen this army on Warhammer TV very recently, within the last couple months. The Destroyers are still around. Yeah, so this rule book's about 5 years old. We still had Creed, Company Commander, Tank Commander, Pask is still around, Yarick, Straken. So Tempester Prime, let's see him again. May take a chainsword or any one of the melee weapon options. Right here, says it right here for the Prime. Conscripts, still had conscripts back in the day. This time you can only take up to 30 conscripts. You couldn't take 50. This was the first time they restricted conscripts. This is when they went away from the infantry platoon and they went towards individual squads. I think they probably saw that like 50 conscripts was a bit much on the battlefield, but hey, you know what? I would take it. Scions, yeah. Okay, so this is now when Scions went from only being able to take 2 special weapons to being able to take 4. So for every 5 models, you may take up to 2. And then, so if you had 10 models, you could take up to 4. Master of Ordnance, Special Weapons Squads, yep. A lot of cool stuff in the old 7th-ish, 8th edition rulebook. I think this might have been 8th edition, or probably near the end of 7th. Hellhounds, Armored Sentinels, Scout Sentinels, Basilisks. You can take up to 3 Basilisks. You can take 3 Wyverns, 3 Hydras. You can take 1 Manticore, only 1. Only 1 Deathstrike. Then you can take your Leman Russ battle tanks, your Tauroks, your Chimeras, your Prime Valkyries. So the Vendetta was not in this rulebook, so the Vendetta was not in here. So 6th edition was the last rulebook that had the Vendetta in it, but the Vendetta is still in the Forge World rulebook. Then they started adding all the other Bane Blades. This is around the time when the plastic Bane Blade kit was super common. I thought it came out before this, but that's when they put it in the rulebook, which I thought was pretty cool. A lot of cool art in here. This is when the Knights were around. You can take a Knight ally. A lot of regimental doctrines. So this is pretty similar. This is stuff that like people have been seeing for pretty much the last 5 years. A lot of cool stuff in here. All right, so now we're gonna go on to this. Now, one of my friends, the same friend who says the 5th edition rulebook is the rulebook of all rulebooks, says that this is chaos propaganda. And I don't know, from this cover right here, well, this little guy with a little face mask, everything, this might actually be chaos propaganda. But, so this is the collector edition. I want to talk about something. So in the Cadia Stands box set, a few people have been having issues where their actual special edition rulebooks are being damaged. Just by the way the box set. So right here, you probably can't see it on mine, but the plastic did poke through the top of the rulebook, and yeah, and I remember, man, like, I don't know if they're gonna sell this separate outside the box, the special cover. They probably won't. They probably want you to buy the box with it, but you know, if they sell it separately and you don't need the box, I would probably try to get this separately because it won't be as damaged. The God shed no tears for humanity. Only Emperor can save us. The God sheds no tears. Okay, so that basically says the same thing over and over again. Oh, that's pretty cool. Does it say anything else different? No? Yep, and this is the new Rogoldorn battle tank on the back. I think the back art is really cool. All right, now we're gonna go through this one. Ash Militarum. So we got Valhallan, Catachans. I don't know why they put Valhallan on there. All right, let's kind of break our way through this. First things first, you can't use the code on the back right now because the rulebook's not officially out. This is the Cadia Stands. The rulebook won't be out separately until January. But I don't know. I don't like this art. It's grimdark, but in the wrong way for Guard. I mean, it still has the landing craft. I really want to see what one of these landing craft look like as a model. That'd be kind of cool. All right, old classic artwork right there. Then we got the new guy with his basically all like 99% cybernetic horse. What about these guys? Where do you get these ones from? Where do you get these cool little helmets from? Those are pretty neat. It's kind of cool. Oh yes, the Maledictus from the previous edition. Still we got the Runes of Cadia, Armageddon. A lot of cool stuff in there. Sabbath Wars. All right, so introduction of Ursula Creed. Lord Castellan Final Stand. So formerly Colonel of the Creed, granted over the Castellan Cadia. Foresight Defense. Lord Creed and the Rumettes were not among them. So yeah, it's kind of like trying to figure out where Creed ended up. But as far as we know, Creed was kidnapped by Necron. It's really cool art with Celestine there. It's pretty nice. This poor guardsman's getting his face torn off by Plague of Nurgle Plague. You got the new so interesting. Solar Lord Leantis, they don't really talk about him too much. I mean, other than him being like having a lot of cool rules, but outside of battle, however, he endures a wariness of spirit, privately appalled at the horrors that he sees perpetrated by the Imperium upon its own people. That's pretty interesting for the Solar Lord, or I always want him to call them Solar Lords instead of Lord Solar, but whatever. Different. So we're still talking about regiments that don't have models, which is sad. I gotta look these guys up. I kind of want a unit of those. So Catachan Jungle Fighters, Warzone Catachan. We should do that. We should definitely do that. We got the Talarn. These Talarn are looking pretty nice. It's pretty nice art. You got the Attilan Rough Riders. You know, you got the old Krieg. Colonel. I still am not a huge fan of Gaunt Like, I've read Gaunt's Ghost, like the first book. I'm just not a huge fan of Gaunt and the Tanith or anything. Got some, yeah, some Vresh, some Cadian. So they talk about Knight Commander Paskin here. They talk about him right here. But he's not in the book. Serve the Emperor today, for tomorrow you may be dead. True facts. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how they talk about Paskin, but he's not in the book. Scions of the Storm, different commissars, airborne assaults. Talk about Armageddon. This is awesome art, though. Get a Reaver Titan, some Helldrakes, a lot of Helldrakes actually. That's a terrifyingly large amount of Helldrakes. And you got the old Steel Legion in there. And yep, good old Yarick being dead. So they released a Warhammer community article talking about, is Yarick dead? Is he not dead? And I think that's because a lot of people are really upset the Yarick's gone. I have 2 Yarick models. I have an old metal one and I have a newer Finecast one. And I've seen some people do kit bashes where they put, you know, like Photoshop Yarick on top of the new Solar Lord or Lord Solar. I might see if I could try that, but it might not be in the cards. But I definitely know I'm going to kit bash the new Lord Solar to be a Warden of a Peanut Legion. Definitely going to do that. Different. I mean, these are all the new. So I got to look. I don't think this is in the new box. I think this is something else because I couldn't see the sculpt anywhere, but I'll have to look for it. But I've seen the sculpt around. So there's a new Cadian Shack Troops. They look cool. Pretty neat. Yeah. New Cadian Shack Troops. And then we got the new field ordnance battery guns. So we got the heavy las cannon. These should have been indirect fire. It's pretty lame that they're not. These you have to be direct line of sight for these rocket launchers. But these field guns, these are indirect fire, which is weird because to me, I would be perfectly fine if these were indirect and these were direct fire because these look like they don't have enough elevation to be indirect fire. They don't aim up far enough. But then again, I know field guns in the actual military, they also don't aim up that far all the time. But yeah, heavy weapon teams. Here's some conjecture with heavy weapon teams. Heavy weapon teams are apparently going from 60 millimeter down to 50 millimeter. Now these new heavy weapon teams aren't out yet, but I've seen on Reddit people trying to put the older heavy weapon teams on the newer base, on a 50 millimeter base, and them barely fitting, like not fitting at all. While these ones look like they're pretty fit and not too bad. So yeah, I don't foresee myself changing my current heavy weapon teams over from 60 to 50. But I do plan on buying a couple of these newer heavy weapon teams just because they look pretty cool. But once again, all the new models are going to be Peanut Legion. Going to paint them up orange and black. Rogel Dorn, we got some Rogel Dorn battle tanks. I'm probably going to get 2 of these. Once again, Peanut Legion. Yeah, it'll be pretty neat. I think that Hydra is going to be Peanut Legion also, just because I don't have one. New Command Squad. I think these are all inside the new sprue. Yeah, these are the new ones, right? Yeah. Got the new, what do they call them? Casterkins are back. These are pretty cool. Veterans, the old Casterkins from before. They weren't in the rule book, but you would just use them. They were the models that you would use as stormtroopers. So they had the stormtrooper model, and they had a Cadian specific stormtrooper model in metal, and then they got rid of both of them, and they released these in Kill Team. I'm waiting for these to come out in actual plastic or in a separate kit. I don't want to buy them in the Kill Team box because I don't want the Necrons. But yeah. A lot of cool stuff. So the new Deathcore Krieg, I got some contentions about that. We'll talk about that when I get to the data sheet. The new Attilan Rough Riders coming back. That's pretty neat. Finally got to see the Goad Lance for the first time and the Melta-Tip. We'll talk about that. We're going to do a deep dive in all the different data slates. Leontis, new Lord. Creed. I don't like her helmeted version. If she's gonna not have the helmet when I do her. When I paint her up. Prime, we're gonna be talking about that guy. On a Militarum Tempestus. All right, getting into the rules now. Okay, so as far as detachments, regimental traits, they're all different. But to be fair, regimental traits have changed almost every edition. They've been choose your own adventure pretty much every edition, so I'm not too butthurt about that. I kind of made a little annoyed they got rid of the regiment, because I have 9 now 10 different paint schemed armies. But it'll be fine. Like now I'm just going to mix and match my different paint scheme armies together, so it's not that big of a deal. Got some more, well, this is a slightly newer take on classic art. But all right, so detachment abilities. Born Soldiers basically gives you the 6s. Let's see, yeah. Each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of 6, you automatically wound the target. Different chain of command. One thing I noticed is you have a maximum of 1 commandant in each detachment in your army. Unless you have Leontis, you can have Leontis along with. This is basically the old Space Marine captain rule, where you can't have more than 1 captain per detachment. So not a terrible thing. I can see why they did it. If every unit in a detachment has the Tempestus, the Scion's detachment have the troop battle roll instead of elites. So yeah, if you're taking a whole Tempestus Scion army just all by itself, then you can, they're not elites, they're just troops. Regiment units gain the Born Soldier Doctrine. See right. If you wish, you may replace this with one of your own, choosing to describe page 60. So you can go to the next page. So original have been varied. If you create a crusade force, all regimental units start with Born Soldiers. Regimental units. To do this, you must use the consolidated regimental requisition on page 30. If you're creating it says crusade. Do so. Select 2 of the doctrines listed here. These 2 doctrines combine your army, and all regiments include the Astra Militarum. Okay, so instead of Born Soldiers, so basically you get to pick 2 of these, and there's a lot of different videos out there about like what you would do, and I think it really kind of depends on how your army is laid out. So yeah, I this one rule right here with the expert bombardiers, I wish that this was within like 18 inches of a friendly Voxcaster or Sentinel unit. So I think for artillery armies, you're going to want a lot of Sentinels. You're going to want a lot of troops also to help you use expert bombardiers if you're doing like a heavy artillery focused army. But yep, a little different stratagems. Officer cadre. Use the stratagem before battle when mustering. Warlord. Select 1 Astra Militarum character to be your Warlord. Where's the one for vehicles? I think I'm not there yet. Let's see. There's one for the Imperial Commander Armory. Battlefield Request. Tank Aces. Here we go. There is one where you can take a veteran commander, add this model to your army, select 1 of regimental doctrine sections. Another unit for army has the model doctrine. Okay, nope. I thought there was one where you can make one of your super heavy units a commander. Steel Commissar. You can make the Steel Commissar can be in a battle tank unit, but not a super heavy unit. Huh. I'll have to look a little closer. We got your psychic discipline. Now for psychic disciplines, you only have your if your psyker is an astropath model. So yeah, you have your Primaris psyker or your astropath is all you have now. Different warlord traits. You have specific warlord traits for specific characters for like Strachan, Leontis, Creed, so Grand Strategist, things like that. So if you're not picking one of those. Relics. Okay, so my first contention with the relics, I haven't looked at all the relics yet, but I noticed one was missing. And they made a specific relic for Bastion's sword in a release back last October, so a little bit over a year ago. They made a specific sword for him, but I don't see that. It's not named in here, but it had like a cool like ability for you to ignore negative modifiers when you're doing certain tests. So they got rid of that, which is kind of lame. But I'll look through the rest of these later and try to figure out what I want specifically. All right, getting into the data sheets. Disembarking is pretty cool. They got new rules for that. So you got your regimental orders now. So moves change a little bit. Fixed bayonets, take aim, first rank fire, second rank fire. They changed it now from different rapid fire to heavy, which it's all right. Take cover. So yeah, Perfectus orders and the Mechanicism orders. So cruise, war engines, well-loaded machines. So I'll have to look. I'm gonna have to look at this a little bit closer. All right, so Solar Lord Leantis. So I'm definitely gonna be using. I'm gonna buy this model when it comes out, but he's going to have probably like a shock baton instead of a sword. I might do a head swap for more of something like a prison warden or a commissar. And the horse is definitely going to be like a metal horse. It's going to be like, if you ever watched what was that? What was that comic I watched recently? What was it? It's Rankin Bass. Jack Frost, and so you got the Lord of the Cossacks on the little iron horse. So this is going to be it's going to be painted way different. But he's going to be my Penal Legion warden. It's going to look pretty neat. Ursula Creed. Well, I'll probably pick up. Yeah, I'll pick up Creed. So Commandant rule. The Commandant rule I mentioned before. So he does not have the Commandant rule, but you can add him in addition to a Commandant. But I think he's a Supreme Commander, so you want to put him in a Supreme Allied detachment by himself. I think you can. Can you take him in a regular non-allied detachment? I think you can. Yeah, because he's just an HQ choice. But you might have to put him in Supreme Command. I could be wrong about that. Ursula Creed, so she got the Commandant role, so you can't mix Creed and a Castellan in the same force, in the same battalion or in the same detachment. So if you take multiple detachments, you can. But you can't take multiple Castellans unless you have multiple detachments. So, all right, so Creed, she's got her duty and vengeance, she's got a bunch of pistols, she's got a power sword. She's got a bunch of different cool rules. I'm not really too worried about her rules because she's a model that's like new. So she'll come as is. The Castellan is essentially, there's new models for the Castellan, but it's essentially a company commander from the previous edition. So let's see, you can give him a bolt gun. So chainsword can be replaced with a bolt gun, a power fist, or a power sword. And the last pistol can be replaced with a bolt pistol or a plasma pistol. So do I have one with a bolt gun by itself? I don't think I do. Well, I do have a company, I have some platoon commanders that have chainsword and bolt gun. Those were the Catachan ones, so they couldn't run, yeah, couldn't run it as is. I couldn't run it. I would have to say that the bolt gun is a bolt pistol, so probably couldn't use those. So we got tank commanders. Tank commanders aren't too different. They did get rid of some of the war gear options. Like the auger array and everything, they got rid of that. But that wasn't really taking all that. I think there's no points difference anymore for some of these weapons. But yeah, we got the dozer blade, the armored tracks. So I think I have one or two tank commanders that have armored tracks, but a lot of them don't. So platoon command squad. So all right, so let's get into it. All right, so with the command squad, you have a platoon commander now. So platoon commanders are not by themselves. You have to pick one or the other. Or they got to stay together. Then you get your veteran guardsmen, you get up to 4. You can take a heavy weapons team, which brings you down to 2 extras. Platoon commander has equipped with a las pistol. Every veteran guardsman has a las pistol, or las gun. Heavy weapon teams, blah, blah. So, let's see. Any number of veterans guardsmen can each have their las guns replaced with a chainsword. Okay, if you want to get melee. Any number may replace their las gun with the following special weapons: flamer, grenade launcher, heavy flamer. Okay, heavy flamer is in there. Cool, nice. I'm glad to see heavy flamer still in there. Melt-a-gun, plasma gun, or sniper rifle. You cannot select the same weapon more than once. So no more 3 flamers and a melt-a-gun. Now I can have heavy flamer and a melt-a-gun, and I have to swap one guy out. So I could do that. That's not impossible. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. One veteran guardsman could have a Master Vox. You kind of want to do the Master Vox realistically. Voxes are really good now. They really help a lot more. Take a meta pack, get a regimental standard. Platoon commander, their last pistol can be replaced with a bolt pistol or bolt gun. Good. And can be equipped with a chainsword. Okay, so my Catachan platoon commanders are legal because they have a bolt gun and a chainsword. So those are good. Good to hear about that. And then, of course, your heavy weapon, blah, blah. Models with these cannot, let's see, if it does, so it's las can. Okay, so if you have this, you can't mix this with something other than a las gun. So Master Vox, Metapack, or Regimental Standard, which is fine. Most of these like older models just have like the Regimental Standard. I think one of them does have a sword. Excuse me. These do not have the commandant rule, so you can have as many platoon command squads, I think, as you want, really. Or, well, no, these are heavy weapon options. These are HQ, so I guess it depends on how many HQ slots you have. Now, the Cadian command squad, slightly different. You can't take a heavy weapon with the Cadian command squad. And it's got the Cadian commander rule. So now you have a Cadian commander and the Cadian veterans. So let's see. One veteran can have a las gun and a regimental standard. One can have a metapack. One can have a Vosscaster, and one can just be las pistol chainsword. Let's see. One Cadian guardsman, las gun, and regimental standard and with the las gun and the regimental standard may be replaced with a flamer, grenade launcher, melta gun, or plasma gun. One with the las pistol can be replaced with a bolt pistol, plasma gun. Chainsword can be one with the guardsman chainsword can be replaced with a flamer, grenade launcher, melta gun. Interesting. Okay. Huh. So if you don't want the regimental standard, then you can take a special weapon. If you don't want the one guy with the chainsword, then you can take another special weapon. Nowhere in here, that's interesting. Nowhere in here does it say you can't have two of the same. Okay, all right. Okay, so for the Cadian command squad, you could have two plasma. Hold on. Yeah, you could have two plasma guns. If you didn't take the regimental standard and the special weapon, you could have two plasma guns in there. That's how I'm reading that. Yeah, one Cadian regimental may replace the following with a special weapon. One Cadian guardsman chainsword, so this is the one guardsman with the chainsword, may replace with a special weapon. Yep, so you could have two special weapons in the Cadian command squad. Okay, then they could be the same. They don't have to be different. And the commander's chainsword may be replaced with a power fist or a power sword. That's fine. Typically, you're probably not really going to want to do anything with your Cadian commander because he's here for the orders. He's here to issue out orders. Interesting enough. You cannot. So the metapack and the Master Vox, you can't get rid of the metapack or the Master Vox. Which I guess makes sense if you're, well, no, I think you can get rid of the metapack. Can you? No. Huh. Okay. So you're always going to take the medic and the Master Vox with the Cadian command squad. That's fine. If you're going to take the Cadian command squad, I think that's okay. I don't have a problem with the Cadian command squad because this is how the kit comes. But in the old platoon command squad, they're super restrictive, which is weird. Why would they be restrictive on the platoon command squad, not the Cadian command squad? Huh. Well, all right. I guess they don't want like a heavy weapon and two plasma guns. Whatever. Straken's still here. Primaris Psychers here. Gaunt's Ghosts are still here. They're okay, from what I understand. Now you have your regimental bodyguards. These are attached to a command squad. They're an attaché, and you can only have one of each per command squad, I think. Is it one? Starting strength. Let's see. Similar to a mustering army bodyguards. Let's see. No more than one bodyguard model may be added for each officer unit. Okay, so you can't have more than. Okay, so you can have a bodyguard and officer unit. No more than one of each type of attaché model can be added. Okay, so yeah, so you can have multiple Masters of Ordnance or Officers of the Fleet or Astropaths, but just not in the same command squad. They have to have different command squads. So Artillery Commander, command phase, select one enemy unit within 30 inches invisible to this model, so that's cool. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a friendly artillery model makes a ranged attack against that, re-roll a hit roll of 1. Okay, that's not terrible. Maybe, depending on how his points are, it might be worth taking him. You get your Ogren bodyguards and your Nork Deadog. He's still around. All right, so infantry squads. These haven't really changed a whole lot, which is good. So Voxcaster is now really worth taking. Like if I'm gonna have to go sift through all my bits boxes, look for all my Voxcasters. So I'm gonna have to put them all on there. So you take one special weapon, which has always been a case, and then you can take a Voxcaster. Now your sergeant can have a chainsword or power sword, and your las pistol can be bolt pistol, bolt gun. So a lot of mine I have power sword, bolt gun on a lot of them because that was kind of a thing. And you can take a heavy weapon team. You don't have to, but you can. Yeah, so these are really similar, very, very standard to what they were before. So infantry squads aren't really changed. I think the only difference is now like you have to pay points for the plasma sword, the plasma pistol, and the power sword. Cadian shock troops, these are new. So up to 2 can each have their las guns replaced with a special weapon, but you cannot select the same weapon more than... Oh, hold on. Up to two shock troops can each have their las guns replaced with one of the following: flamer, grenade launcher, melting gun, plasma gun. You cannot select the same weapon more than twice per unit. So you can have 2 plasma guns in a Cadian shock troop squad. Huh. Interesting. Up to 2 may each have their las guns replaced with one of the following. Boop, boop, boop. You cannot select the same weapon more than twice per unit. I thought you couldn't at all. I thought the Cadian shock troops could not have the same gun. But according to this, you cannot select the same weapon more than twice per unit. So yeah, so you can have shock troops with 2 plasma guns. I don't know why they... Was this a change? Has this been FAQ'd? Is it day 1 FAQ? Huh. Weird. Huh. You can take a Voxcaster, obviously, and you can take a bolt pistol. This last pistol contains a bolt pistol, or you can just take the drum-fed auto gun. Okay, okay. No power sword in the Cadian Sergeant. So yeah, no power sword. But you cannot select the same weapon more than twice per unit, which that's weird. I thought that was kind of weird because more than twice per unit. Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird because you only get 2 special weapons. So why would they add this? All right, okay, all right. According to this, you can take 2 of the same. Unless I read that wrong. You cannot select the same weapon more than twice. No. Yep. Okay. All right. So Cadian shock troops are fine. Like I don't have a problem with them. A lot of them are not modeled with 2 of the same weapon, but yeah. Okay. I wonder if that's because the box set that this typically comes in, you're gonna get 2 of. Like 2 plasma guns. I'll have to look at I'm gonna look at the sprue later. All right, Deathcore Krieg. This one I have a little bit of a contention with the Deathcore Krieg because this is based upon the plastic kill team kit, which you can buy separately for $60. So you have the Watchmaster, and then you have 8 troopers, and you have 1 trooper that's got a plasma gun. Up to 2 troopers can each have their las guns replaced with one of the following: a flamer, grenade launcher, a melta-gun, or a sniper rifle. You cannot select the same weapon more than twice per unit. Okay, that's fine. So you could have 2 sniper rifles or 2 melta-guns or 2 flamers or 2 grenade launchers if you wanted. The plasma gun troop can be replaced with Voxcaster. So if you want your Deathcore Krieg to have a Voxcaster, to be able to like use the Voxcaster keyword to help spread orders around, then you cannot take the plasma gun, but you can take 2 melta-guns or 2 sniper rifles or whatever. Interesting. And then 1 trooper can be equipped with a metapack. So a metapack's not bad. You can do the metapack thing. And then your Watchmaster can have a power sword or you can give him a bolt gun. So I think this is interesting. I kind of want to get a hold of this box. Kind of want to get a hold of this unit. Not right now, but maybe in the new year. Cadshin Jungle Fighters. So this one's a little sad. Luckily, I didn't give them any other special weapons than what they normally had. For every 5 models in the unit, you can get a flamer, so you can add 2 flamers because the box does come with 2 flamers. And then you can give 1 Voxcaster. So, and then if they're in melee, they score additional hits on 6s. They're not that good. I mean, they're not terrible, but yeah, there are rules that'll help them out a little bit, but yeah. Sly Marlboro, he gets the Meltamine rule, which I think if you don't, I looked at Meltamine. It's pretty decent. You can it's in the front. It's a stratagem. I'm gonna go to that real quick. Where are you, Meltamine stratagem? I know you're in here. I saw you not too long ago. Meltamine. Use a stratagem in your fight phase. When a Meltamine unit from your army is selected to fight, select 1 enemy vehicle or monster unit within engagement range of the unit and roll 1d6. On a 2 to 5, you do d3 plus 1 mortal wounds. On a 6, the enemy suffers 2 d3 mortal wounds. So, yeah. And unlike the older days of the Meltamine, like it's not going to kill your own characters. So, yeah. So, if you're within engagement range with Sly Marlboro, there you go. During deployment, he's a loner. This model can never be your warlord. So I always thought it was weird. It says this model can never be your warlord, but he's an elite choice, not a HQ choice. So I don't know why they said that. Upon battle at the end of the... I guess maybe this is a rule that allows you to make elite choices. No, I don't know why you do that. Once per battle at the end of the fight phase... Yeah, so you can have them sneak away. Okay, so the Casterkins. These are on new 28mm bases. So, let's see. Up to 4 Casterkin troops can have their hotshot las guns replaced with a special weapon. So up to 4. So you have 4 Casterkin troops, and so you can have, but they can't, but you cannot select the same more than twice. So you can have 2 grenade launchers and 2 hotshot volley guns. You're going to have 2 grenade launchers and 2 melta guns, or so on and so forth. I think for this, 2 melta guns, 2 flamers are pretty good. That's probably how I'm going to run them. Well, not in the Casterkin box, but I have some other models that I do need to get on some like base extenders. These are 28mm bases, which is a little sad. If you already had like some of the older ones and you want to reuse them, you got to get them on. You got to put them on bigger bases. Which those were all metal slotted ones. So you're gonna have to get some base extenders, which you can 3D print those. Some people sell them. I'm gonna have to get a hold of some of them. Regimental Preacher's still around. Harker's still around, doing stuff with old Payback. We got still Minotaur Observators are still around. They still got the old arm of the servo arm. You can take a heavy bolter, multi-melter, or a plasma cannon. There's a little font issue on the plasma cannon. Interesting how the plasma cannon rules are here, but not the other ones. Not the heavy bolter or the multi-melter. They got the new Commissar, and the Commissar is a little sad now. He comes with a bolt pistol or chain sword. You can give him a plasma pistol or a power sword. That's all you can give him. So Savine Rain, that one special character they came out with a year or 2 ago, she's not in here, but you could play her because she has a power sword and a bolt pistol, so you can still play her as a regular Commissar. Ogrins, Bulgrins. So Radlins, so if you have old sniper models, you can try to field them in your infantry squads. You can try to field in your infantry squad. You can try to field a sniper rifle if you have like the old sniper rifle models. Or if you have extra snipers, like you used to have the old special weapon teams, you can just play them as Ratlins if you wanted to. I don't think anyone's going to complain. The old Rough Riders are back. I'm definitely looking forward to getting like 10 of these. These look pretty sweet. They have the old goad lance, the hunting lance with the different tips. I don't know when you would take a power saber. So for every 5 models, you can get 1 goad lance, and the sergeant can be equipped with a power saber. So he doesn't lose his hunting lance; he just gains a power saber. Each time the bearer fights, may make 1 additional attack with this weapon. I don't know how that really works. If you get to attack with the, let's see. I don't know why you would do the AP3. I guess if you wanted to go in and hit him with I'm not 100% sure. I don't know why you would take a power saber, but he's still got the frag lance. I don't think anyone's going to care if you model them all with the frag lance but you use the melta tip. I don't think anyone's going to care. You got Scout Sentinels, Armor Sentinels. I have some Armored Sentinels. So these ones went up from 60mm bases to 80mm bases. I'm going to have to fix that in some of my models. Got the old Hellhound. So now no longer can Squadron. You can't Squadron Hellhounds anymore, which is kind of sad. No, wait, hold on. It's got Squadron. Keyword Squadron. Keyword Squadron. Where's the keywords? Thought you couldn't Squadron anymore. Why does he have the keyword Squadron? Army rules, relics, data sheets, crusades, stratagems, tank stasis. Where's Squadron? Chain of commands. I think Squadron might do something else now. A friendly platoon or squadron model may take an attack, destroyed model units. Huh. Go back to So Squadron is more issuing orders and stratagem. It's not how many models you can have in a unit now. That's kind of bummer though. Battle tank or super heavy foot tank cases. Huh. Oh, where's the orders? Let me go back to the orders. There's a section on orders. Detachments, data sheets, crusades, point value, orders, combat patrol, doctrines, stratagems, I'm gonna go to the orders section. Not relics, data sheets. Aha, okay. So, let's see. Cruise and Missile, let's see. Tilling your site phase. Select one enemy infantry model. Huh, okay. So that's mechanized orders. Can I issue mechanized orders? Regimental tactics. How do I issue mechanized orders? Is it only with tank commanders? Let me go back to tank commanders. Can tank commanders... I think tank commanders, oh, let's see, tank commanders, voice of command, regimental tactics, page 75. Okay, regimental tactics. You just have an officer from your army issues a mechanized order. You can select one or more friendly squadron unit within 6 of the squadron also affected by the order. Where is mechanized orders? C. Mechanized orders, C right. Orders, command phase. Where does it say that only tank commanders can issue mechanized orders? Voice of command. Okay, in the command phase, officers may issue orders. There are 3 types of orders. The commanding authority section of each officer data sheet will specify what type of orders the officer knows. Each time an officer issues an order, okay, so if I look at the tank commander, voice of commands, he knows officer regimental supreme commander. What? Hold on. What's it? The commanding authority section of each officer's data sheet. Commanding authority. Commanding authority. Okay, so on the tank commander, it should have. I'm flipping back and forth. I'm just trying to look at this commanding. Oh, here we go. Model knows mechanized orders. Oh, okay, all right, got it. Okay, so that's what the squadron has to deal with. So if it has squadron, it can take mechanized orders. Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. But yeah, you can still only take one Hellhound per fast attack slot. So, which I guess if you're trying to fill out a brigade, it's fine. But if you're back in the day, you could take up to 3. Rogaldorn takes a single heavy weapon slot. Probably going to buy 2 of them. They're pretty cool. I'm probably going to do one with the twin battle cannon and one with the pressure cannon. All right, heavy weapon squads. They still come in 3s. I thought at one point it was 1 to 3, but I guess now it's a 3. These guys are cool. Definitely going to get a couple of these ones. Field Ordnance batteries, these come in 2. I thought these might come in units of 3, but they don't. They come in units of 2. So you can have 2 bombast field guns per heavy weapon slot, so that's pretty good. Lemur S battle tanks, they still come in 1 to 3. So if you want to mix them up. A lot of weapon options still the same. Regimental tactics, all the same stuff. Squadron, they have to be set up within 6 inches, but after that, they act independent. Basilisks, they took a big hit. Now they're only 1 unit. You only take 1 Basilisk per HQ slot. So if you're wanting to take a lot more Basilisks, like in my Talarn, you're gonna have to take either a brigade or other detachments that allow for more heavy weapon options. Got that Hydra. Gonna build that Hydra up. I like the Hydra now because it's got it's got turret weapon, which is pretty cool. It's got turret weapon rules. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against an aircraft, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1 and add 1 to both hit rolls. So it's heavy 8. So if you're fighting at an aircraft model, not a fly model anymore, that's kind of different. If you're firing at an aircraft model, you get 16 shots. But if you're flying and you get an extra, you get an extra 1 to hit. So it doesn't make it BS5, but it just adds 1 to the hit roll. So yeah, or BS3. But it's normally BS4. So I think BS4. Rolling on 4s on 8 hits on ground targets would be fine. The Manticore is still the same as Manticore was before. I mean, a lot of their weapons are a lot more. So one thing that I would say is better is they're a lot more consistent with how they hit. Wyverns, you can only take 1 Wyvern, which is weird. So you got heavy for. Let me look at this previews. What was the wyvern before? Because I have 3 wyverns that I would take together. Okay, so they did 48-inch range, heavy 4d6, strength 5, AP -1. Okay, that's better. Damage 1, same. Blast. This weapon can target units not visible. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. So you doesn't say that anymore. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so you lose the rerolled failed wound rolls. That's kind of a bummer. They should have left that in there. Yeah, I think they should have. Yeah, you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. I think they should have left that in there. Still BS4, so everything else is the same. It's kind of a bummer. Smoke launchers, no. Yep. Yeah. The increased strength and increase in AP is fine. It's not going to do anything against armor contempt though. Well, the AP won't. But this yeah, I kind of think they should have been able to keep the extra shredding in there, because storm shard mortar. I think they could have. Since they took away wyverns, they could have left that in there. A lot of new weapon options for the Death Strike. These are all pretty cool. Different vortex heads, plasma barrage, Godspear. I think I'm probably going to go with the plasma barrage or the vortex. But you don't have to tell them what you're going to pick beforehand, so that's pretty good. Toroxes look decent. They still only take 10 models. We got the Valkyries. So Valkyries, their transport, their aircraft, their fly, and their Valkyrie. But I think the balanced data slate still says. Let me look at something for the balanced data slate real quick. 1 second. I have it. I just looked at it earlier. The most recent balanced data slate still has mustering 1 aircraft model. Okay, so it's still aircraft model. I thought they were talking at some point about making it, if it has the transport keyword, it's fine, but no, it's got transport and aircraft, so you can still only take 2 per 2,000 points. And I happen to have 4 of them. Multiple rocket pods. Salty say, is that better? Somebody said the multiple rocket pods got better. Let me check. Let's see. Flipping on over. Okay, it's multiple rocket pods. Assault D6, strength 5. Okay, so the strength went up. The AP went up. Damage still the same. Okay, so yeah, they got better. Still the las cannon. Yeah, I think the las cannon's the same. Yeah, las cannon's the same. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Airborne assault during deployment, set up high in the sky, supersonic, hard to hit, explode, grav shoot insertion. They do have hover jet, which you can still do the hovering thing, but it is ballistic skill 3 without the hovering jet, which it wasn't before. That's pretty good. New Aegis defense line. I'm not sure how I like this. We'll see one of the new Aegis defense line comes out. Bane blades are in the unit kit, so now it says the models. Okay, so now it comes with. So I think they changed all the special weapons now to where they all come with the sponsons, and some people were a little upset they all came with sponsons. You can add an additional. This model can you can add additional las cannons, heavy bolters, whatever. So you can add up to an extra set of sponsons. But I think they want you to take the sponsons now, which all of mine have them on them. So I didn't take them off. Same thing, yeah, Bane Hammer, Bane Sword, yeah, so they all still have all the same stuff. Doom Hammer, Hellhammer, Shadow Sword. Shadow Sword's pretty cool. I like Shadow Sword. Storm Lord, I got a couple of those. Storm Sword, I don't have any of that one. All right, so we were making a fuss about the command squad before. So the Prime comes with a bolt pistol, those frag and crack grenades, so that's the Prime. And you get the command rod. So the Prime's bolt pistol can be replaced with one of the following: plasma pistol or the command rod, which was always a thing before. But the Prime cannot take any other special weapons or no melee weapons. And so this is the first time in the entire Tempestus command squad existence where you can't take a special weapon. You can't take a bear sword. Because according to this, the only Prime is the guy with the jacket, which is pretty lame. because the kit has so many other melee options in it. Now I have to go through my Tempestus. I'm probably gonna have to buy a whole nother command squad. I'm gonna have to like figure out what to do with them. I have extra jackets, but I'm gonna have to like, I'm definitely gonna have to snap off at least one power sword. Yeah, that's pretty lame, but well, whatever. I mean, the point of the Tempestus Prime now, because you can't take him by himself, you have to take him with the command squad. The point of the Prime now is to issue orders to other, yeah. So like, I get it. Ooh, they have aerial drop. So deployment. So yeah, you can still aerial drop them. So you got stormtroopers. Yep, regimental orders. Yep, so that's Prime. Now the Scions, so for Scions, for every 5 models, up to 2 may have special weapons. You cannot select the same weapon more than once per unit unless the unit contains 10 models in it, which case you can select the same. You can't select the same more than twice. So they kind of kept that around. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was under the impression that with the Cadian command squad, you couldn't pick the same weapon twice, but apparently according to this, you can, which is cool. I mean, it does kind of suck where you can't have like 2 of the same with the command squads, but yeah. They get stormtroopers, they still get aerial drops, those guys are cool. Then the Torox Prime, and then we can get on the Crusade rules, which I'm not going to get into. But that is the 9th edition Codex. That's my little gripes and concerns. They took away a lot of squadrons from things, so it kind of ruins a lot of army builds and a lot of command squads I have. Also, the command squad bases are now 28. Which is 28.5 by GW standards, so they're a little bit bigger. But so yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do with basing. I know for my heavy weapon teams going from 60 to 50, the older heavy weapon teams just do not fit on the newer on 50mm bases. They're not designed for 50mm bases. So I'm not gonna rebase any of my older heavy weapon teams, but I will get the newer heavy weapon teams at some point. But yeah, so that is the new Imperial Guard. That's been a trip down memory lane. I hope you guys enjoyed. But aside from that, I am done, and I gotta go. I gotta go work on. I got one more model to put together for my Alpha Legion, and then I'm done with assembling my Horus Heresy. So that'll be cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to buy a copy of my book. There's a link in the description below, both in ebook or in paperback. Aside from that, hit the like button. Let me know. Which edition did you think was your favorite for Imperial Guard? Aside from that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.